too. So today I teach out of Fresno State, and I'm walking with a student after class, and here comes this young athlete wearing Beats by Dr. Dre on his head, his backpack on, and he is just running, and he's weaving through the crowds of people walking along like that main thoroughfare at Fresno State. And he's like a linebacker carrying the football, going through defense, just snaking through everybody. And all this money starts falling out of his pocket, but he doesn't notice. And so this one dude starts picking it up and says, "Hey, hey!" But he's got his headphones on, Beats by Dr. Dre. Right? And then he goes by me. I'm like, "Hey, dude! Hey! Hey!" He doesn't hear me. I'm like, "Stop that guy! Stop him! He dropped all of his money!" Right? And so people are like, "Dude, stop!" And he's like, shoo, shoo, shoo. It's like, well, what are all these people doing? And then one guy tries to bear hug him, and he like rolls out of it and keeps running. Somebody else tries to get him. I don't know what the guy's thinking at this point. I look back to see what's happened with the money, and the guy's got it all in his hand, and he's like coming after him to give the money back. And I look back to the other dude, and some guy, he's like pushing some guy back, and then the other guy pushes him back. So I guess he thought like somebody's trying to mug me. And then he rips his hat off and takes a swing at the dude, and that guy like jumps back, and there's like a fist fight. And I don't remember if the other dude swung, but then this woman gets in the middle. She's like, "Dude, we're trying to give you your money." He's like, "What? We're trying to get you your money back. You dropped it way back there. Everybody's yelling at you. You couldn't hear. You had your headphones on." And he's like, "Oh." So somebody comes up and gives him his money. It's totally wild. It was like fist fighting all of a sudden. What's up with that? Like, why are you tackling me? It's totally crazy. I don't know if he was selling drugs and had a pocket full of money and thought like people were like busting him for selling drugs and he had to break free or what. But I don't know why he didn't stop. It's week 12. And in my IT lab, this was week 1. This was 2, 3, 4, 5. This was 6, 7, 8, 9. This was 10, 11, 12. You should be on 3, the third one for access. Down here in exams, you should be through like whatever all your quizzes are here. Chapter quizzes go all the way through 13, so you should do through 12. And then also in exams, you've got your hands-on lab tests. You should have already done Word and Excel. You should be thinking about access. You should also, since we're done with Excel, you should think about doing the extra credit. This Excel training, if you get 70% or better on the final at this Excel training, then I'll just give you the 5%. That's fine. So you can just jump right in and take the final and see how you do with everything you know about Excel. You get 70% or better, and you've earned 5% towards your grade. So that's pretty cool. And then for the assignments all the way, all the assignments through week 12, obviously. And if you're in my online class, you need to do the discussion for week 12. And your Google search history and programming week 12 and a paper for weeks 10 through 12. So programming is starting up again this week, and we're just going to have 1, and then week 13, 2, and then week 14, 3, and then week 15, none. So we're only going to have 3 more weeks of programming. It's just like a basic introduction to JavaScript so that you could kind of like get a little feel for it's kind of cool to write code. It's not that hard. It's kind of fun. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. Anybody have any questions? We're going to talk about programming a little bit. So we talked about web programming last week. This week we'll talk about programming. Anybody have any questions? So just sharing with one student, if you learn to program, it's kind of like getting a superpower because all your life you've been walking and then all of a sudden you could fly. And you look around and you're like, dude, everybody else only walks. I could totally fly. Now that's a metaphor. You're not literally going to fly, so don't think that you learned to code and you could fly. It's a metaphor. But it literally gives you that much more power. It's like having a superpower. Like if you learn to code, you could do stuff which is totally cool. And other people will be like amazed. And this is just like rudimentary. I took programming for a year in college and studied one language, and I just continue to work with it. So just like you've gotten better with Microsoft Word over time, you guys probably don't think twice too much about using word processing. And in this semester, you've gotten a lot better with Excel. And now you're like, cool, look at what I could do with Excel. It's the same way with programming. If you learn to code at the end of a year, you'll be able to do some awesome stuff. Awesome. Like, let's say you want to start a business. Okay, well, let's go grab all of the data off of the competitor's website and analyze it. cool, right? And you could just write a little program that goes and gets all the data off their website and puts it in a file for you, and you can look at it. Now, there might be a slight legal complication to that, a term of contract violation, but that's not too big of a problem. They'll just probably send you a cease and desist. But that's kind of neat, right? Having that superpower, being able to code. So if you want to learn how to code, I have that course on Udemy, an introduction to programming with Google's Go language. And you could enter the code. It's just going to, oh, okay, it's already seeing me as logged in, but let me do it this way. Learn how to code. You could enter right here, redeem a coupon. You could enter either Saber, S-A-B-E-R, Saber, which I think in Spanish means like Google Translate. What's it mean? No. To know. So that's why I chose that, even if I don't know Spanish. Saber. I used to know Spanish. I was just looking for a cool phrase. I used to have a different one, but I had to get rid of it because that's the way the system works. And so you could put in that one, or you could put in Delphi, like the Oracle at Delphi. So you might just enter Saber. Or you could put in, if you have no money, for my friend, all lowercase, for my friend, right? And then the only price that you have to pay for entering that coupon, which gives it to you for free, is you have to give me a 5-star review and write up amazing things about how I'm so awesome. Because then that'll help other students buy the course. And that's just good old-fashioned, you help me wash my car, I'll help you wash your car. And good old-fashioned business. Or leave me no review at all if you don't like it. But that's where you can start learning to code. That's the best course on learning to program that you will find in the world. Right there. I kid you not. Variety of reasons, some of which we've already talked about. All right, so we talk about programs and programming. I just kind of think, I don't know if it might be interesting to show any code. I just don't know what code I might show you. I showed you code last week, huh? We looked at code, didn't we? Yeah, we did. We talked about code. That was all right. That's enough. So we'll make this quick today. So we talk about like information systems. So this, sometimes you'll hear this department called information systems, and so it's about systems. And so we have a system here for working with students. You have to apply to the school. You have to then, once you've been accepted, you have to enroll in classes. And then you have to attend classes. And then if you don't get good grades, there's a process for handling that. If you do get good grades, then you can apply for graduation. It's a system, right? And that system could use a lot of improvement. I know you've all experienced the frustration. And so it could be easier to enroll. There's probably ways in which it could be easier to enroll, or easier to apply, or easier to transfer classes in, or easier to graduate, or easier to, transfer to a 4-year university. And so you could take that system and you can improve it. And that's, right for creating some sort of a new system. So that's what a system is. That's the first thing I want you to get. Oh, what is a system? So like if you've ever worked fast food, there's a system for producing food and servicing the customers. And they've got that system down to a science, right? Anybody ever worked fast food in here? No, okay. One person, yeah, 2 people maybe. Or, like FedEx or UPS or the Postal Service, how do they deliver all those packages? There's a system for that. So you could go watch videos on YouTube like how UPS works to kind of see an example of, oh, here's a system in action, and see, how did they think about their system. And so when it comes to systems, there are users of information systems, and those users can be thought of, this is an organizational hierarchy chart where you have few at the top and many at the bottom, right? That's the way a lot of organizations are structured. And so those different levels of the organization can have different pieces of software which help them do their jobs. So there's things like TPS, transaction processing software, or management information software, MIS, or DSS, decision support software. or EIS, Executive Information Software System, Executive Information System. Is this redundant, or have you guys seen this before? No, you've never seen it? It's all new to you? All new to you? It's all new to you?
Yes.
Okay. So, if you guys are going to talk, I just can't talk when other people are talking. It just is like, oh, are you saying something? My brain kind of goes there, and like my thought process stops. So if you want to talk, please go outside. So TPS is like pretty cool. Point of sale systems would be part of transaction processing system, POS, point of sale. And if you think about like how point of sales have changed the world, it's pretty amazing. So back in the day when I was a kid, we'd go to the grocery store. My neighbor across the street, Sammy, was his career was to be a cashier at Safeway. And it paid him enough to sort of live across the street from my family. My dad's a teacher at Fresno State, professor at Fresno State. My mom was a realtor. It's like, whoa, man, I guess it pays okay. Well, that's a huge expense for the business to pay somebody that much to just, hello, how are you? Can of beans. You like the refried beans, huh? And he wouldn't scan it. I was just doing the scanning motion, but he would go, $1.39 and set it aside. And then he'd look at the next one, enter the price. And if the price changed, somebody had to go around with a little sticker machine and like on the sticker change the price and then chunk chunk, a new sticker on the can. And they'd have to do that, and if the price changed, they'd have to go back and put that sticker on everything they wanted to sell. And it was like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of labor in that. Now we have barcodes. If they want to change the price, they just update the price in the computer so that when you scan it, a different price comes up. You no longer have to have high-paid professionals who are really good at 10 keying and won't make keystroke entry errors, right? You can have the dumbest person in the world. Listen, all I need you to do is hear the beep. When you move a product over the scanner, you need to hear the machine go beep. If you don't do that, keep moving it until you hear the beep. And if you don't hear the beep, call the manager. Okay. Minimum wage, right? We just went from paying somebody enough to afford a house in an okay neighborhood to, paying somebody not enough to live anywhere. This is business. We're doing great. So that's like a point of sale. And then you build your point of sale so that, and this is a system, right? We rethought that checkout system. And you build it so that when an item gets scanned, when you get inventory into your store, well, the computer says we now have 1,000 of those units. And as you scan something each time, it takes one out of inventory. And then when inventory gets down to a certain level, right, it places an order with the supplier, and the supply shows up automatically 3 days later. You don't even have to worry about it. All you do is you have the low-wage person standing there, beep, 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 and then every day a truck shows up with stuff, and it's exactly what you need to restock your shelves for the stuff that's almost out. Totally cool. I like that system. So how can you reimagine a system and create a new system? And if you could do that, you get to make a king's ransom because you just saved tons of money for somebody else, which means, it used to cost you $10 million a year, and if you pay me $2 million a year, I'll save you $8 million. Cool. And fire all those people, by the way. I don't care what happens to them. So that's pretty cool. And then you have MIS and DSS and EIS, and that's just some of the similar sort of like, how can we make jobs easier and more automated and have machines doing a lot of the stuff? How do we automate stuff? So it's always interesting for me to just sort of speculate, like, how can things be improved? Like, the trucking industry is going to go away pretty soon. Truck drivers, that's done. Bus drivers, that's done. You driving your car, Uber drivers. Uber is currently looking at acquiring a self-driving fleet. You won't have drivers. Cars are self-driving. You know that, right? You don't know that cars drive themselves? You guys don't know that? Not your car. You're still in like the old cars. We all are. But the new cars they've been inventing drive themselves. And so pretty soon, we don't need truck drivers. The trucks drive themselves. Why would you have a driver on it? Right? Just like when ATMs came out, nobody really wanted to use ATMs. What? A machine is counting my money? That's not going to work. And it's like kind of hard for people to switch. And now it's like nobody goes into the bank. Why would I go into the bank? That takes forever. Takes us a little time to switch. But then we're usually motivated to switch by saving time or saving money, saving some sort of resource. And the bank saved a lot of money by sticking in ATMs. Less tellers, don't have to be open for as many hours or whatever, I don't know. So it's always fascinating. What else is going to change? What other systems like big systems are going to shift? Like cars, I think, is huge. That's a huge one.
Like cashiers? People who take your order. Not like restaurants, you can order your own menu on your own stuff.
Yeah, maybe, right? At restaurants, waiters, they won't take your order. You'll just be at your table and you'll just order yourself, and then somebody will bring it out to the table. Maybe. I think we like the human touch, particularly around food. It makes us feel homey. So maybe that'll be a hard switch. But Square, right? The way businesses process credit card transactions shifted tremendously. Being able to swipe a credit card on your mobile phone with Square. You guys know Square? You could all go get the ability to process credit cards by going to this website. They'll send you a little device, and then you hook it up to your phone, and when your parents don't have any money, you could just say, that's fine, I take credit. And they'll swipe, you could swipe their card and charge them for $200 and be like, bye. Thank you for having me. Should have worn a condom. You don't want to pay this money. What's up?
There's also an app, have you heard of the Cash App?
No, what's that?
You can just transfer your money from person to person.
It's called Cash App.
So you can just pick up like whatever amount you want, and then it transfers from bank to bank.
What's the name? Cash Out? Cash Out?
Cash App. It's made by Square.
How long
Is
does
it?
that take to process?
It takes like a minute or two, I think.
But to transfer from one bank to another?
Yeah.
Really?
Or there's Mint, which lets you pulls in data from all your financial accounts so you can manage it in one place, makes doing your taxes easier at the end of the year, plus makes you be able to get more money back because you've categorized all your expenses that you've spent on business. So you could say, deduct all that. Boop, 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 boop. GIS is Geographic Information System, so I don't know what the heck this is showing us, but you can see that the different colors mean something. So it's kind of mapping meaning to colors to locations, right? You've seen the fat people map? Did I show you guys that?
Yeah.
I did, right? So what is it? It is, who did it? Department of Health? I don't know. Health, Fat, America, map. I don't know. Adult obesity, images. There we go. Adult obesity. That's a better way to talk about it. Adult obesity. Where's the one? So it's CDC. There we go. CDC obesity is a better way to talk about it. So here's like where America got fat from 86 to 2009. What? How did we get so fat? It's kind of nuts. I love that map because it tells you that something has been going on. I'm not quite sure what, but the results haven't been that good. Like people got really fat.
It's real, isn't it?
Huh?
It's real.
No, this is made up. It's real. It's real. It's absolutely real. I'm joking. But the greater than 30% are obese. Obese. Trip out. GIS. CAD and CAM stand for computer-aided design, computer-aided manufacturing. So design would be like in the computer, you design what this component's going to look like. Like every car before it goes into production, every little piece is scaled and like blueprinted like this. And then you have blueprints for how it all fits together. And that's all done in computer-aided design software. Artificial intelligence. I don't know why this is in here, this slide deck. We're talking about systems design, programming, so I guess it kind of fits. But artificial intelligence, the problem with creating machines which are artificially intelligent, which are like humans, is that the people best qualified to create those machines are the least like humans. You know, they're just super autistic and nerdy and just sit in front of a computer. I'm joking. It's a joke. Artificial intelligence, can you create machines to sort of be like humans? Whatever the characteristics. Walking, appearance, interaction. So when a machine can fool you, when you no longer recognize that you're not talking with a human, but that you're actually talking with a computer, that's considered the Turing Test. And Alan Turing, right? Anyhow, that would be the Turing Test. And then the machine would be said to be artificially intelligent if it could trick you into thinking it's human. We've already kind of tripped out on robots, right? We saw that new robot.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a trip. So, huh? What? Oh, all this. That's just e-commerce. I don't know what that's doing in this slide deck either. You like marketing? Kind of grabbed your eye. I like marketing. Let's talk about marketing. I think marketing is better known. You know, marketing is a phrase most people used to talk about it, and it's the phrase we use in academia. But I think the true phrase is mind control and persuasion. How do you control somebody's mind and persuade them to do something? You might also refer to it as corporate propaganda. I think that's also a good one for marketing. But marketing is like, how do you get people to do stuff? And one of the main ways is you have to figure out what are the base characteristics, the base longings, desires of humans. And so the base longings and desires of humans are if you analyze your head and you think about it as a program, the fundamental core principles within your operating system, your human operating system, what are the two fundamental directives in your head? Anybody know? Anybody thought about this before? If you had to say there's two fundamental directives that drive the behavior of every human being, what would those two fundamental directives be? The most base foundational directives of driving human behavior, what are they?
Money.
No. Survive. And what's the other one? And what? No. But Mick Jagger kind of sang something close to that. You want me to give you a hint? Wah, wah. Survive and procreate. You don't think so? That's just my own personal philosophy, so it's not rooted in, like, I didn't see the code for the human head. But I think it's survive and procreate. Just think about in your own life, like how much energy you put into dating or thinking about that. And it's like, whoa, I've really been driven a lot. What is that that's driving that behavior? And then also think about, you know, like how you dress, how you look, you know, what's at the root of that? And then survival, think about, you know, like when you want to control people, you control them with fear. Oh, the terrorists are coming. Terrorists? Really? Are there terrorists? How come we have like 3 gazillion billion illegal immigrants come across the border and do all this migrant labor for us, yet like no terrorists are getting into the country? Why don't they just fly like 1,000 of them to Tijuana and tell them to come across with all of the illegal farm laborers and then just wreak havoc? Give me 1,000 people who are willing to die for some jihadist cause, and this country could be brought to its knees. They could just come straight across the border. So are there really terrorists? How hard is it to get a flight to Tijuana and walk across the border and hijack a gas truck and drive it into the mall during Christmas rush? Really? Are there terrorists? I don't see them. Like occasionally, right, you know, we have some stuff going on, but in Brussels, there was a pretty big explosion. or wherever that was at the airport. But fear keeps people in line. Fear, survive, procreate, and belonging is huge. Social acceptance, because we're social creatures. So marketing, you will be safe, you will procreate and be desirable to your partner, and you'll belong. And if you just look at marketing and think about marketing in terms of safety, sex, and belonging, you could see that's 99% of marketing, and the other 2% is no good. I know that just added up to 101%, but all right, I got off on a tangent. Programming. So there's different programming languages out there, and then we'll talk about SDLC. And next week, I think we actually talk a little bit more about programming. But do you guys want to hear about different languages, or you've heard enough already today? You want to hear about different languages?
Yes.
Okay. So what language do you learn? And why? So some of your choices that are out there are C, C++, Objective-C, C#, Java, Python, JavaScript, Ruby, Node.js, which is JavaScript, PHP, Go, right? Those are some of the different languages that are out there. So if you want to become a programmer, absolutely you should probably go into computer science, and you will learn C++. That's great. Don't learn C#. You'll have to learn Java just because that's what they teach in programming. Comp sci, super popular. So if you look at top programming languages, 9 most in-demand programming languages. Programming Community Index. GitHub, programming languages in GitHub. So SQL, which is for databases, Java, JavaScript, C#, Python, C++, PHP, iOS, Ruby on Rails. C# is really kind of like for doing Windows stuff. JavaScript is for web. Java is for large applications at a I forget the word, enterprise level. So that'd be like, Fortune 500 company wants to build something. Python is okay. PHP is poopy. I wouldn't want to learn any of them right now or spend time with any of those. If you look at this list, there's C, C++, C#. Ratings is still C is like, oh, Java's above that. Java's the top one.
So Visual Basic is a language or
Yeah, Visual Basic's a language.
for pictures and videos?
For what? Visual Basic? It's just for Microsoft stuff. Building Microsoft stuff. So here are some other languages, right? Like on GitHub. GitHub is a place where you keep your code. GitHub is totally cool. And so JavaScript's the most popular. And Java is the next. And Python. And then CSS, which is for styling web pages. And PHP. And then Ruby. And C++ and C and C#. Objective-C and R and Vimel. And then Go. Go's my favorite. I love Go. I think it's the best language. That's why I recommend everybody should learn. By the way, have I told you about my Go programming class on Udemy? Just kidding. And we'll be doing Go in the fall here. You should enroll in it if you're interested. So you get to hang out with me again. And it's actually, I think, a much better learning experience. It's Wednesday night. So you could go to WebAdvisor. And you could click on Guest Access. Most people don't know this. And you could click Browse, Search for Sections. And you could just search for sections. So I want Fall. And I want Computer Information Tech. And I want Fresno City College. I want course number 90. And so far, there's available, and there's capacity, and wait list 0. What's that mean? Available, 33 available. Nobody signed up. Have you guys started enrollment yet?
No.
When does it start? Is it like right now it's starting? Some people. Go sign up. I need like 20 people for the class to make. You should totally take the class. It's going to be awesome. You'll be able to fly at the end of it. Everybody else be walking. You'll be like, like totally and you don't need to know anything. You just need to go through my Udemy course over the summer. Spend some time with it. Don't freak out if you're like, oh my God, I'm confused. That always happens in programming, and then you become unconfused, and then you're like, how did I not understand that? I totally remember not understanding it. It seems so simple to me now. And then other people are like, I don't understand it. You're like, it's just like this, it's like that. Don't you see it? And they're like, no. It takes just takes a little time sometimes for things to assimilate. All right, so last thing we'll learn about. Anybody have any questions about programming and languages? Last thing we'll talk about is SDLC, which stands for the Systems Development Lifecycle. So academics come up with all these different frameworks. A lot of them are pretty stupid, just for describing how things happen. And so systems development lifecycle. A life cycle is you're born, you live, and then you die. That's your life cycle. There's a trajectory. It's going from the cradle to the grave. That's the trajectory you're on. You're somewhere in the middle. That's your life cycle. And then, you know what? Somebody else is born, they live, and they die. Everything has a life cycle. Products have a life cycle. The VCR is introduced. It was really expensive. Hardly anybody could afford it. If you had one, it's like, whoa, they got a VCR, and they could watch movies at home. And then pretty soon, everybody could have a VCR. And then pretty soon, nobody has a VCR. Nobody wants a VCR because we all got DVDs and the DVD player. And first, only a few people had DVD players. Then everybody had DVD players. Now people are like, why the hell would I want a DVD player? I'm just going to like log into Netflix or stream Comcast or go get a movie off of Amazon. Why would I want a DVD player? So everything's got a life cycle. Many poets have written cool poems to this. Many songs have been sung about this. For every season, turn, turn, turn. Right? You know all that stuff. So the systems development life cycle, when you develop a system's got a life cycle. It's born and then it dies. And when you go through the different phases of that life cycle, first you investigate, is there a problem? And then you do some analysis. There is a problem. Then you design a solution. And then you acquire the crap that you need to implement that solution. Then you implement it, and then you maintain it, and then it dies, and there's a new problem, and you have to create a new system. Right? So this is just like, this is just like the problem-solving process right here. Ooh, there's a pain in my belly. Let's do some analysis. Did I get punched? No. Have I eaten in a while? I have not eaten in a while. I'm going to design a 5-course meal. Let me go to the store and buy all the ingredients. Now I'm going to cook it and eat it. Delicious. Is the problem gone away? My stomach no longer hurts. I'm going to maintain that by, I don't know, eating leftovers when my stomach hurts again. And that's just like investigate the problem, analyze it, design a system, acquire the junk, implement it, maintain it. Throw it away, start over. So part of that might be like, you create flow charts or decision tables about how are different processes happening. Student comes in to register, they fill out this paperwork. Have they been here before? Yes. Okay, they do this. No. Okay, they do that. Right? Have they previously been a student? So when you implement things, you could implement a new system, direct, parallel, phased, pilot. Direct implementation, Friday was the old system, Monday it's the new system. You just directly switch over. The problem with that is if the new system crashes, you're out of luck. You completely switch. Parallel implementation, old system runs in parallel with the new system. So if the new system crashes, the old system's still running. Cool. Phased conversion, you slowly phase out the old system and phase in the new system. Pilot conversion, well, let's just try it on those guys over there, and if it doesn't kill them, we'll implement it everywhere. Right? That'd be pilot implementation. So that's just like the systems development lifecycle and programming. A little bit about AI. I don't know. Ramble. Anybody have questions? Don't you want to take programming from me next semester? How many people do in the spring? Cool, one person. What? Go home right now, all of you. Think about it. I don't want you coming back until you've changed your minds.